Welcome to the Naturally Yours podcast, where we celebrate our beautiful women of color while spotlighting their success in bringing more awareness to our natural hair. Welcome to episode 2, and I have a very special guest with me, and she is actually a motivational speaker. She is also a life design specialist. She also empowers women to break through limiting beliefs and design the life they desire and deserve. So, won't you guys help me welcome Ms Ramona Rogers?
Thank
Hi,
you.
Ramona. How are you today?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me today.
You are welcome. I am glad you are here. Thank you for giving me some time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So let's get right into it, shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
So, first, for the people that don't know what you do or who you are, why don't you start first by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit of what you currently do?
Okay. My name is Ramona Rogers. I am an author, a three-time author, personal development coach, as well as a motivational speaker. My target is women who are willing and ready to design the life they want when they are ready to be seen, heard, and successful. They come work with me. And then I also do student success, that I also put that same information out, but for students in the college arena as well as students in high school. So I feel like the information that I have is crucial to designing that life you want, and you can't do it without that information. So make sure I get that out there. So those are the two targets that I have, my targeted audiences that I have.
Gotcha. That's amazing. That is amazing. Three-time author.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is, whew, that is a lot. I am so happy and proud of you. Wow.
Yes, yes.
So, so are those books currently like at just your normal bookstore? We can go get them.
They are. They are. You can get them on my website. Also, Amazon. Amazon has all the books, but when people
Gotcha.
order them off the website, I do autograph copies of that and send them to them.
Oh,
That
nice.
way, they have that autograph, and I always try to put a special message in there for those people who purchase books from me and support me, but want to
I
up level
love.
their life as well.
Gotcha. I love that. I love little handwritten notes. Like when you purchase something and they write you a letter or something. I love
Yes,
that.
yes, I
Makes
like
it
that.
so much more personable.
It does, it does. So I like it though.
Gotcha. How about you tell us, are you a full-time entrepreneur or do you currently still work a 9 to 5, or what's your schedule look like?
My schedule is crazy. I have taken a deep dive into entrepreneurship by itself for the first time since I've been an entrepreneur. I've always had a regular job and did entrepreneurship on the side, not able to be fully engrossed in it. So this is the first time that I've actually done nothing but this. Started back and there was a circumstance that happened that it was like, okay, it's time. Uh, Back in January, it's like, okay, it wasn't my choice, but I rode with it. It wasn't what happened to me. I said, look what happened for me. I was able to finish that third book, and I was able to actually take the deep dive into what I need to do for my business, which was a lot. The learning curve was a lot. And I really thought about it. It's like I would have never gotten this far in this length of time if I had been still working a full-time job, of which it was really a full-time and a part-time, to be honest about it. That's how many hours I was actually giving them of my time, that I was too tired or too just not able to put everything into this and build my business.
Right. Right. So when did you resign from your position?
I didn't resign. It just a situation happened. It was time for me to go.
Oh,
But
oh,
it was January 28th of this year. It was January
oh,
28th of this year.
nice. You're about to come up on a year.
I am, and the turnaround from where I was in January to where I am now, with able to really launch into the different areas that I want to maneuver in, that I want to impact. It's really a game changer. That time is a game changer. That element is a game changer.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Man, I'm sure that felt amazing and a big load off of your chest when you just got to leave from there because
You know what, entrepreneurship is uncertain sometimes, so it's scary. So you get used to the constant
Highs and lows.
what you got coming in all the time, but at the same time you're not being fulfilled. So you weigh that out, and you put as many hours into your own business as you can, because
Mm-hmm.
you're also trying to make ends meet and be responsible and take care of your family and your obligations. But that other part of
Right.
you is like, I want to do this over here. And sometimes things happen in our lives that pushes that either one way or the other. It's like, I always tell people, are you positioned for the pivot? So life is going to pivot you one way or the other. It
Mm-hmm.
is going to be your choice, or it may not be your choice. But the whole thing is are you in a position to pivot? I actually was in a position to pivot, and that was the changing thing right there. Is that uh, it wasn't my schedule, but when it happened, it didn't shackle me or harm me in a way that it was like, oh my God, it wasn't one of those that I had to just go out and get something else just because. It wasn't one of those. I was able to kind of make the transition, get into some stuff that I know I need to do, get that book done, which that was the editing and back and forth with that, which that could be a arduous task in and of itself. However, it was kind of done, but it just needed some
Mm-hmm.
more stuff done and editing and things of that nature. But that was like my life's work that I had finally pulled all together, and that's where I teach from, and that's where all my information is coming from. Is what I put in that book, and everything that I have is centered around that, and how I maneuver and help people and elevate people was in that book. So that was the crucial part that I really needed to complete in order to move forward.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I definitely understand that you do need your concentration when you're trying to write a book. Definitely. Definitely.
So,
Man, did you ever have a time where you went into writer's block, maybe dealing with your three books?
oh
And
yes,
how did you overcome it?
writer's block. So the first, and I have to tell you for each one. For the
Okay.
first one was my very first one was written only because at the time I had a child care facility, a business, and my students there, the kids, they didn't know anything about financial literacy. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the famous Black Wall Street was in the early 1900s. And
Yes.
so at
Yes.
the time I was in grad school at Oklahoma State University. Ironically, that sits on that same property where the massacre took place. Ironic, right?
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yes.
so, so we were studying this stuff, and my great grandmother came to Tulsa, Oklahoma after the riot. Her family was a part of the rebuilding, but my dad used to talk about Greenwood, Blackwash, all this. Never made the connection. I really didn't. It just kind of entrepreneurship was just kind of a way of life for my family members, but it wasn't like the old Black Wall Street when I came along in 1970, and my dad's telling me about the years before that. So it just didn't make it. It wasn't a connection. But you didn't learn about it in school. It's not in any history books. So the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that you heard about, and then the people that really experienced it were too scared to talk about it. It didn't come to the forefront till the late 80s and 90s, and people really start talking about it. But in the 70s, my dad is trying to talk about stuff, entrepreneurs and business stuff, and I not having a clue. But when I took that class, it's like this is what he was talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
those kids that I had, I took that information and I started teaching them about saving, earning, and spending money wisely. And then that's where the book came from. Is that it's cartoon characters, but it's the Black Wall Street story, how they came, how they produced, and how they were able to become a self-sufficient society. But just learning, because I didn't know, I did it like online and my characters and stuff, but that wasn't that bad of a deal. The people kind of walked me through it. They just weren't here, so contacting them and getting stuff done like it needed to be done was a little bit rough. But uh, they gave me like the format, and I just made it kid friendly, so I was able to kind of get that one done. And my brother's a financial advisor, so I was like, "Hey, what you think about this?" So that one wasn't as hard. The second one I did all
Gotcha.
myself, create space. Now that was a task. Didn't know what I was doing, to be honest about it. I had a friend with a t-shirt shop who kind of helped me with my graphic, my logo or whatever, and his
Mm-hmm.
stuff didn't match up with their stuff. But so that was a different task in of itself. And I said, if I ever do this again, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
stay in my lane. I'm gonna let the people who do this, I'm gonna let them do it. And so this time around, that's exactly what I did. I had written it. My first personal development book what it came from. It's like the second one is a sequel. And so I had some information, but I had added and learned so much more after I started really studying successful people and how they maneuver. I had added a lot more to it, so I had to write it. I didn't really want to write a third book, but I didn't have a choice because it had so much merit, and it was like a full success system at that point. And so me writing it to put it out in the world was going to be beneficial to people who I came in contact with, and to use that as a premise for to change the trajectory of a lot of people's lives with the information.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, out of those three books, which one was your favorite and why?
Actually, though, the one I just wrote, Blueprint for Success: Live Your Life by Design. Actually, I'm just gonna show you.
Yes, let's us see it, girl. I like that. That's a nice
And,
cover.
and it's my favorite because as I was pulling it together, it's like I've been building my own blueprint, and so
Right.
I've lived what I wrote, what I studied, and what I've been training and coaching people to do. And when you just look at it and you do it, it's like aha moments. I've always been the one who's like, there's this gap, this achievement gap. What
Mm-hmm.
happened? Where's it at? And it stems from years ago when they kept, the slaves and stuff ignorant. Where you don't have a level playing field. I want the field to be level. And so here was my way, and that's what I've been doing because I tried to elevate me for so many years, and I had two
Mm-hmm.
daughters, so they wasn't going to experience the limiting beliefs like I had. That was just a no brainer for me. So as I'm building them, building myself, I see
Mm-hmm.
all these people that I can that resonate with me, how they feel and what they think about themselves, and I'm like, this thing has been rigged from day one.
Day
We
one.
we have to change this. And so
Mm-hmm.
I came across my purpose some years back, and I said I promised myself, and I wrote it down in a book that my plan and my purpose is to elevate people to be who they're supposed to be. And so everything I've done is just aligned with that. And that's what this book has been about. It's like you have that goal to get over there, and you finally get there, and it's like, you
Right.
don't know it's going to take you up, down, side, round, upside down. You don't know that it's going to take you out there. You know that that's where you're going, but how
Right.
you're going to get there, you don't know. But the journey is what it's about, and what you learn throughout the journey, and how you can
Yes.
pull it out together, and how you can stay resilient, and be relentless to keep going after it no matter what life throws at you. So that's a lot of what I talk about is life is going to throw it at you. It's what you do with it. Are you going to buckle, or are you going to learn and maneuver it and use it to move forward?
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, with your personal development business, what's your ideal client look like?
Ideal clients mostly for women who are in that transition. A lot of times we are the ones who stay at home. We're the kids, stop what we're doing with life because we have children, and
Mm-hmm.
you owe it to them to give them that attention. But when you get them in school and they're being self-sufficient, we sometimes look back and say, what happened to me? So we're in the process of trying to reinvent ourselves and redo something we don't know how. So the process that I have is that here's how you do. You go back to the drawing board of your dreams, your hopes, and the things of that nature. But it might be different than it was when you first started on your journey and being an adult. It's different from before you got married. You're a different person at this point. So
Right.
you have to maneuver where you are right then, and it might be new, and it might be some exploration that you have to consider, and discovery about self and new self. At that point, you can create whatever life you want. You
Right.
don't have to be in somebody else's agenda. You can make your own agenda because it's just
Yes.
that time. And we a lot of times don't do that. We just get in where we fit in with no rhyme, reason, thought, or action, or blueprint, or anything.
Right.
And that's when we
Right.
end up years later be like, what happened to my life?
Yes. Yes. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
Um, because I know I've been in this rat race of this 9 to 5, where they have you, where they just keep you thinking a certain way, just keep you employee mindset. So I definitely wanted to get out of that, and because I felt like it was holding back my potential, just like you. So, I am slowly transitioning like you. I can't wait to experience, what you have experienced. What are your next steps you see with your business?
Next steps is to actually get into that college market where I'm able to go to college campuses and impart this knowledge in workshops, things of that nature. Also, to get into the school systems to deliver this information. They need so much. They need so much.
Yes. Yes.
And it's like I want them to know the information so they can build a life before they live the life, is what I say. Build it
Yes.
authentically because you have the
Yes.
information. It's all about information, resources, and knowledge. If you have the no knowledge, then how can you build? How can you build it authentically or correctly to where it's beneficial to you? It's a good fit for you.
Right.
Is your agenda because it's you and not,
Right.
oh, grandma said I should be
Right.
XYZ. Well, I don't even she said I should be accountant because I added good when I was 5. I could add before my 8-year-old brother. But that's a lot of premises for a lot of people when they maneuver. It's like because somebody say it, it's not authentic, and you waste a lot of years going nowhere because it is not a good fit.
Right.
It's not a good
Right.
fit.
It's not your true alignment. I definitely get that, girl. I definitely get that. Cause I can relate. I definitely can relate.
Most of us can. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. I know that from my own experience. So yeah,
Yes.
that authentic,
Yes.
that authentic fit, and it's like it feels good, even though you're more apt to keep going and get that resilience muscle built because it's like now I'm still going over here. Okay, that's a learning experience. Okay, what did I learn
Hmm.
from it? When you learn the tools and learn how to maneuver in the different seasons, even even in failure, learn something.
Right.
Fail forward is what they say.
Right. You got to fail to succeed. I mean, because how do
Exactly.
you learn if you don't never fail?
You don't.
Right. Right. So, what are some things that you learned on the way um, as you were pursuing this entrepreneur lane that you could maybe shortcut the next beautiful Black woman or woman of color that maybe want to step out on faith or start something that they're truly passionate about? What would you recommend, or what would that look like?
Find mentors. Find people who are willing to give you a hand up and not a handout. So you can learn what you need to learn. You can do what you need to do. Be willing and understand that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And it's okay that if that's not your thing, you may want it. People desire it, but when it comes
Hmm.
down to what you really got to put into it, it's a no. They're better suited to go work for somebody else, but maybe be an entrepreneur working for somebody else. So you have
Right.
different ways you can do it. You might be that go getter. You might be, and people like us need those type of people.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
be this all around type of person because you are miniature me. Not exactly, but I need somebody that can mimic anything I do in order for me to be successful. So you have to build a team. So everybody can't do entrepreneurship, but definitely find those circles. And with the internet and all these groups out here, people are
Hmm.
willing to be there to help. But also understand that there's an investment on your part, whether it's time, money, whatever, to learn to shortcut your learning curve. Um, I didn't have a lot of that, so a lot of what I've learned has been, I say, school of hard knocks. You try it, it don't work. You always got to
Right.
do that.
Right.
But I didn't have a lot of mentors where I'm at as far as doing what I do. So
Right.
the internet is my friend, and I get to communicate with people that are not in my geographical area.
Right.
And that part I really love and reaching out. And people are willing, and you just have to open your mouth and ask. We
Yeah.
a lot of times won't ask the question, hey,
Right.
can I meet with you? Can you tell me what you did? I see
Hmm.
what you're doing. How did you get started? Ask the
Right.
questions. Ask
Right.
questions and don't be so, I got to do this by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. Why do I have to do it by myself? If I can get some people that I can, an accountability partner is definitely somebody that if y'all on that same path and y'all talking every week and I know what you want to do and you know what I want to do. Am I doing what I said I was going to do? Are you doing so? Holding each other accountable, that has been like a game changer. Also, these last 8, 9 months, I have accountability partners that we make sure we have at least one conversation a week, and we're did you do why let's move the date on that. What you got coming up, and just having that in place, a community of people who are like-minded and trying to build me up, and I'm building them up because
Right.
we coach each other is what we do, but holding each other accountable, that has been the game changer because it's a lonely world on the island. you know?
Girl,
A
ain't it?
world on the island. And it's like you second guessing yourself and you don't know if it's right, if it's wrong, what does it look like, and be willing to take the feedback to get better.
Right.
Everything
Right.
you put out, you might have one way of thinking and might not think another way about something. But when you get other eyes on it, and trusted eyes, let me clarify that, trusted eyes, not just if it's somebody who is not in your circle, even if it's a relative. If they're an entrepreneur, I don't need no advice from you.
Right. 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 It's like, why take advice from someone who hasn't even been where you're trying to go? That's the blind leading the blind. So let's talk a little bit about your natural hair journey.
Natural hair. Woo.
How
I
does
was
that look for you in the morning? Like, how do you go through your week with your natural hair? Being an entrepreneur.
I'm a natural hair ponytail queen, number one. But my regular hair is so. I have big hair, like big hair. I've always had long hair. I've always had thick hair.
Hmm.
It's one of those things. It takes me down. I've gotten better about managing it because I've been natural for like 2 years now. So wash, color, I can do all that, and I've learned how to just maneuver it. I'm not that like your hair is. I like it like that, but I don't necessarily like my hair curly big like that. I wear it in a
Okay.
ponytail curly.
Okay.
Getting the products, all the it's a experiment with the different products. What
Yes.
this one item on this line might work, and then this one item on this line might work, and so that is an experiment, learning about
Yes.
what products are best to use on your hair to do what you want to do.
I
That's
agree.
we spent lots of money. I have my oldest daughter's hair is bigger than mine, thicker than mine, and I just say like I won't touch her hair. It's just like I feel sorry for her when she has to do her own hair. I really do. I real she has, but she's really been the one to do the experiment with the hair products, and she almost looks like. I wish I could show you a picture of the Wiz when Michael Jackson was the scarecrow.
Oh,
Literally, her hair when she takes it down, it's like that big.
wow.
It's big, but if she flatten it, it's down her back. But it's the thickness of it. It's really like a nest. If you put your finger in it, she pulls it up. If you put your finger in it, you can't get her to her scalp. You like having to separate her hair out. Her hair is like big, thick, and it's like wow. But
Big
she's
and beautiful.
It's a lot of hair, and she's gotten to where she can maneuver very, very good. And I'm like, wow, she might twist it up. She's gotten the products down, so she's helped me with the product stuff. I used to be like, oh my god, that's a lot, but she's gotten it down, and she'll wear her cute little bun hairstyle. She'll twist it up. She'll have curly curls and all that. She's maneuvered it, so I'm proud of her on that. I've been
Right.
saying help your mama out.
Right. Right. Help me out. Help me out. So you just normally just pull your hair up in a ponytail and go about your day.
Wash it, condition it. Every now and then, I'll make half it up and curl it, the back curly. But
Okay.
I don't like hair on my face.
Face.
I don't like it up here, but I'll pull it. I have to pull it back just because I don't like it up here.
I got
So,
you.
but
I
it's
got
it's
you.
it's there. It's there. It is there. And I was like, wow, I don't know what God was thinking about. He gave me this kind of hair.
I bet it's beautiful.
It's
Big,
it's
thick,
a
and beautiful.
it's a lot of hair. It's a lot of hair. So when I used to have it straightened and get it curled and stuff, it would take 3 and 4 hours to dry. And so even now, if I air dry, it takes days to dry. If
I
I
believe
sun
it.
dry, it takes days. So it's like, footloose, fancy free. It's not your hair is a different whatever. It's a long ways from the grease and brush back in the day that my mama, ponytails or whatever.
Hmm.
It's a different set of hair from way back then. But I'm able to maneuver it. I think I did okay.
Now, have you always been natural, or did you like transition back?
Transition back about. It took me like 5 years. I kept trying it, and it would get so far. And one day, I finally just cut everything off to down to where I could just enough to twist it, and
Got
that's how I finally uh, just made the transition.
got you.
Finally made the transition. It was an attempt for about 3 or 4 years. I get so far and slap some kids. I would have something I needed to go and do, and that I needed to have my hair decent, and because it was half and half, it wasn't
Hmm.
working. So I would have to break down. So I said, okay, I can't do this no more. I let it go as far as I could, and then I cut it all down, cut all the relaxed part off. So that was my transition when I cut the relaxed part off.
Gotcha.
So, but
That's what I did too. I transitioned. I didn't do the big chop. I couldn't see myself cutting all my hair off. So I was like, I don't think I can do that. I'm gonna transition. And then I was wearing like protective styles. Girl, that was a whole nother story.
I like people when I see people they go in long hair and they get the chop and then they come out with this beauty. I say, see, I would do that, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
I
For
can't see
yourself on
it.
yourself.
I like the hairstyle, but
Right.
I, I it with my look, it'll chop it off and the chemical the products won't work.
Your luck, right?
I was like, well, but I saw, and I'll be looking them up. I say, okay, one day I'm gonna go here. It's gonna be a day out. I was like, hey, look, it's gonna be a natural short, and my hair grows back so quick. But I want to try something else. I do. I really do.
Got you. Got you. Hey, you might surprise yourself one day.
I will. It'll be a day. It'll be a day. I'm waiting for this one. I'm waiting for that style to jump out at me. It's like, okay, we're going there right here. And then I found somebody to start doing it because I was just doing my own hair. I was
Mm,
a licensed cosmetologist for 16 years, so uh, never natural hair though. But I just maneuver how. But I found somebody that's what they do. That's one of the things they do. So I'm like, okay, I'm coming. We're gonna do this. But I'll let you know when. So I'm here when you're ready. Chop it, curl it, whatever product. So that's gonna be interesting, and I will definitely document that.
right. I would love to hear about it, especially in a before and after pic too, so I can see all the hair and then what all you got chopped off. Make sure you donate it, girl, since you got all that hair.
Oh, never thought about that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah,
It's a
can
good
use it.
idea.
Um, I was gonna ask you. So, when did you actually find out what your passion was? Like, what made you stumble upon it?
My passion came out of a pain. When I was growing up, I had low self esteem and didn't really understand why. I have come from a big family. I have 7 siblings, and I was the fifth girl, sixth child. I have a twin brother, and I was always like either underneath my mama or my big sister, but I just didn't have that identity. And I kind of did some self discovery over the last year or so, and it's like, well, what happened to me back then? And it's like I was told over and over again from the ages of 4 to 8 that I was incapable of learning. I'm saying it nicely, but I was, you dumb. So when you hear that as a kid from ages 4 to 8, you tend to take that identity on. And most people that are dumb do nothing. So I basically practiced being invisible in plain sight. I mastered that. I could be standing there, and to this day, there's some people who faintly remember me as one of the siblings, but I never talked. I never said anything. I was in the corner. And it wasn't until after I had my second daughter, I didn't have kids, I was 30. I think my oldest is 31, 32. I didn't have till I was older, and so I went through postpartum depression with my second after I had my second one, and it was at that point after I came out of that, I I felt those feelings of hopelessness, but it felt too familiar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know what? My kids won't do this. It became about we're better than this. I'm better than this. They're better than this. But then when I started looking around, I'm seeing all the deficiency of people, or it's really the self limiting beliefs that they have about themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, I don't like this. I was I started like training people and building. I'm building up everybody because I'm like, you're better than this. You're better than this. You know, my daughters. This is how you're going to understand, learn, and grow. And put in them environments and atmospheres that's going to make sure when they turn 18, they can go out and conquer this world because they have the tools they need. They have been bred in them since day one that they can compete in the world, and they don't have to be the I consider myself on the have not side. You can be over there with the haves because you have it in you to be there. We all do. So during that
Mm-hmm.
discovery process, and my purpose was like, I gotta make sure the next person doesn't experience this, or if they did experience this, here's how you can become you. There's a better you waiting to be birthed. This way is kind of the thing that I say nowadays. Is a better you out there, and only if somebody tell you that's a better you, show you how, because we don't know how. We haven't been taught how.
Right.
When we don't
Right.
have that knowledge and those skills, we haven't been taught how to become our best self. And so when I got that, it's like my job is to help people become their best self.
I love that. I definitely do. I definitely love that. That's powerful because you do need someone to, to uplift you sometime, you
Oh
know?
yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are not meant to do this by ourselves. I believe that. I do believe that.
So, one last thing. Is there anything that what would you say to someone out there that may be listening to our podcast right now that may be dealing with those challenges, may have had a childhood like that where they maybe didn't feel loved or they didn't get that proper, you know, compliments that they should have got. How do you recommend that they move forward?
They move forward by basically looking in the mirror and promising themselves, I'm going to do whatever it is I have to do to become who I'm supposed to be. Until you make that vow to yourself, until you make that commitment to yourself, I can give you all the knowledge, I can give you all the information, but if you are still having that self-limiting belief about I can't because of what happened to you happened to you. It's now time to change it. How do you want this to look? How do you want the outcome to be? We have to start with that thought process, but I'm better, I'm good. And that really happens when you do the affirmations every day. I don't care if it's just 5. You got to slowly work your way up to believing that I'm a better person. I'm better than
Right.
this. So
Right.
once your thought process change, then your actions will change, that behavior will change, and then that outcome will change. But until
Yes.
we get to that point to where we think differently about who we are and where we're trying to go, it's going to be difficult. So everybody's capable. We're all meant to be great.
Yes.
How we get there,
Mm-hmm.
if we get there, if we want to get there, that's a personal decision. You can listen to, we have that phone, your phone has so much information on it. The knowledge
Yes.
is out there. The videos on YouTube are out there, motivational. You got coaches, you got books, you
Mm-hmm.
got all kind of sources that you can use. And you have to tap into that and really hone in on that and really want to change. If you want to change, you will change because you're going to seek out the people to help you elevate to get past where you are. We all have those blocks. We all have that with us. Even me to this day, I still have those things, but I know they're there, and I'm working to get better and to change the outcome and the legacy I want to leave on this earth.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yes. That's so amazing, Ramona. Such a beautiful soul. Like, I love it. I love what you stand for. I love the empowerment because I'm all about that myself. Because I know how it can be, being picked on.
Well, and also it's one of those things that after a while, it's not what you're called, it's what you answer to.
Right.
And
Yes.
so you have to
Yes.
get to that. It's like, get away from the, yeah, I was called that. But that's what my mom said to me. You don't answer. I never answered to it. I just acted like it, and it took some years. She said, "It's not what you call; it's what you answer to."
Yes.
And so
That's deep.
it is. So they can call me blessed. I'm able to, you know, you start looking at that different ways. You know, the negative stuff you have to learn to let it go on one out the other, and then also
Hmm.
consider the person who's saying it. Is there
Yes.
are they operating from a place of hurt and wherever that they're dealing with, and sometimes
Right.
that's where it's coming from. So we have to do the work ourselves to make sure we are where we need to be. So when that kind of stuff comes up, it doesn't stifle where we're trying to go in our agenda. And sometimes we can also help that person as well.
Yes. Yes. Did you want to let the people know, Ramona, where they can find you at?
Yes, you guys can find me. First off, my website is ramonarogers.com. Most of my stuff I go up on Instagram, Ramona underscore Rogers underscore. Didn't get to get my name. And then on LinkedIn is Ramona Rogers. So those are the names
Awesome.
that I use. I have a Facebook, but I don't use it as much. So we just go with the other two.
Okay. What you heard her. You can catch Ramona on IG or LinkedIn. Make sure you tap in with Sis because she has some major gems. So I hope you guys took notes. Hopefully I can have you back on again.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. I really appreciate you giving us your time today, Miss
No
Ramona.
problem.
I really appreciate you. You keep killing it. You keep empowering us, girl. And we are going to get out of here, y'all. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks, Ramona.
You're welcome.
Have a good one, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.